Good morning, America, and welcome to another episode of The Big Show. We are streaming live right now on Facebook and YouTube. Today, we're going to have a great show. I'm really super excited because, as you guys can see, I've got two special guests in the house today. As always, my color commentator and good friend, Dwayne Ward. He's also the author and owner of Pissed Off Parent. If you guys have anything that you guys want to have more knowledge on when it comes to custody things, please make sure you check out his page, pissedoffparent.com, I believe it is. Is that right?
Yep. Pissed Off Parent.
You guys, he needs no introduction. You guys already know him. The man, the myth, the legend, Eric Carroll from Dad Talk Today. Guys, welcome to the show. It's good to see you guys.
What's up, man? Happy
good morning.
Day.
Man,
happy Father's Day.
Yeah. And happy Father's Day to everyone out there listening. I wanted to put together a show today. I had a couple ideas. Dwayne and I were kind of bouncing around this week on what the topic should be this weekend. And it just didn't make any sense. And I had to say, Dwayne and I came together and we said, what better show to put together on Father's Day than talking about why fathers are absolutely needed in the household? Because I tell you what, the three men on this podcast right here and the hundreds and hundreds of guys out there listening right now across America, let's just admit it. We're not going to come out and say this because men by nature are not complainers, but can we all agree that men just don't get a good fair shake? We don't get the appreciation, the gratitude that that's deserved. There's a lot of guys out there that are on their purpose, on their grind. They're making it happen. They're stressed to the gills. The anxiety's through the roof, but they don't show it. They put on their belt, they put on their work boots, they go to work, they stay the course, they do their thing, and despite how they effing feel, they make it happen every single day, and no one sometimes even says thank you. So today, on behalf of Eric, Dwayne, and myself, to all the fathers out there for all that you do, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, and happy Father's Day. So one of the reasons why I'm really super excited is because, everyone has their niche, right? And mine is with the fitness and a little bit of relationship training, a little bit of masculinity training. But my niche is not exactly on, the court part of relationships. It's not on the, fathers and mothers part of relationships. I know a little bit about it, but what two better people could I bring onto the show at the right time to talk about why fathers are absolutely needed in the household than these two guys right here? Get my finger going here.
There you go.
The camera's reversed whenever you do
that.
Because I see Dwayne over there, but I point in the opposite direction. So, but one of the first things that I want to say, and you know what? I don't care if it's a little controversial. I'm just going to say it. And I know in today's world of 2023, we want to make sure that everyone is equal and everyone can do everyone's effing job and all these things. But I'm gonna say it right off the rip. You ready for it? Mothers can't be fathers. Mothers can't be fathers, and they are not fathers. In a culture that wants to rid us of gender, I realize that this could be a very unpopular opinion. Yeah. When you say, hey, what do you mean that mothers can't be fathers? Women, if we're following the trend of the day, birthing people, insert your eye roll, whatever you want to call, I'm not even going down that freaking road, but in today's world, people can be whatever they want to be. You want to be a unicorn? Guess what? Put a horn on your head and we'll all have to call you unicorn or we get fired from our jobs. But, whenever I see this nonsense, I'm sure just like many of you guys, I'm often left a little speechless with today's rhetoric. Look, I'm a child of the 70s and the 80s. I graduated in the 90s. I'm pretty well versed in the women can do it all drumbeat of today's world. I get it, but at the end of the day, I think if we all look at it with more of a rational viewpoint, we can all agree that it's a pretty damn slippery slope where we're going down right now. It's a pretty slippery slope. And, although it's not new, all the way back to the garden in Genesis, women have struggled with control. And when you look at the control that women have in today's world, you can see a lot of holes in that thing like Swiss cheese. And I don't know. I'll let you guys decide how you think the politics of the world is going right now. I'll let you decide on how you think our kids are being raised right now. And they're predominantly being raised by females and women. And I'm not here to, this is not a bash female show by any stretch of imagination. I'm just saying that women oftentimes struggle with control, especially in the hierarchies of control. And we're starting to see it over the last 25, 30 years. And as politically incorrect as it may sound, ability or strength, the point is this: in parenting, one is not more important than the other.
Right.
We are bred to start to think that fathers are not needed in the household. We are pushing through media. We're pushing through social media. We're pushing through TV that women can be, and they are everything. They
Right.
can be the mother, they can be the father, they can be the friend, they can be the disciplinarian. And the reality is, how's it going for you? How's that working out for you? Because these two guys right here have plenty of data, stats, and statistics to show what truly is happening rather than what we think is happening. You know,
Oh yeah, you got the data. You have the facts. I mean, 25% of all kids in America raised in single families. With that, 90% of runaways, fatherless homes. 71% of the high school dropouts, fatherless homes. 85% of people in prison, fatherless homes. Here's one that's going to impact the ladies, and the ladies need to think out of the box just a little bit when they're accepting their awards for we don't need no man. But men that have great, I have to use special language on all the social media channels or we'll get doxxed or kicked off, but men that have great women, 75% of them came from a fatherless home because they didn't have a man in the home showing them and teaching them what men are supposed to be. I mean, a woman can raise a boy, a father can raise a man.
Yep.
It's just the way it is.
I say the example is the easiest way to sum it up why fathers are needed in the household is just look at the world today. I mean, you don't really need no
Turn the
explanation.
news on.
With the law, one of the laws that I read about this past week, gentlemen, I'm not lying to you. It comes out of the great state of California. So you already know it's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
Is they are trying to pass a law for trans women, to get insurance coverage to help for infertility. I am not kidding you.
Third grade biology apparently was missed by everyone in California.
I swear we're living in a bizarro world right now. I don't recognize this world that we live in.
It's no lie. Look it up. But yeah. They're claiming they're infertile. They need healthcare insurance coverage.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Can anybody answer to me why you think the infertility rates is so high amongst that group?
It must be something in the water. I'm guessing, or
the California, Oregon water. Yeah.
Yeah, it's nuts. I mean, and the thing is when Goodman and Eric and I were talking about this yesterday on the podcast, but when men sit back and we don't do anything, this is what happens.
Yeah,
the nuttiness and that becomes the new line in the sand. Oh, we're going to do this. We're going to try this. Well, okay. We need more attention. We need to do something more crazier. I mean, they had, I think it was in Canada, pass a law, rule, whatever, that they have to use the kids' pronouns or get fired. They're putting in cat litter boxes for some of the kids at schools because if they identify as a cat, they need to have a cat box.
A cat box.
Yeah, I mean, back in my generation, when the men had, they were the patriarch of the house. If I would have came home and said, "Dad, I'm feeling like a cat," he'd smack me across the head and tell me to go paint the shed.
That's right. And then you know what would happen? You'd go out there and paint the shed, and you'd forget all that nonsense and grow up to be a good human being. Yeah, I mean,
exactly.
It just goes to show that both mothers and fathers hold essential roles in child's development.
Yeah.
I mean, both are absolutely needed. Whoever's listening to this, even if you don't believe in God, you don't believe in Allah, you don't believe in Buddha, whatever it is, you kind of believe in the spirituality thing, you can still kind of look back on some of these teachings from those facets, like the Bible, for instance, and see what they say about fathers. And I did that before the show. I put together some biblical roles on what a father would be, because if you're a person, you don't have a lot of direction. I truly feel that if you follow the Bible, it'll give you all the good tools and tips and direction you need. And I'm not pushing it down your throat. I'm just saying that even if you're lost, you can look towards that and find your direction, right? Because raising children to love God is not necessarily the church's primary responsibility. And I think that what we see a lot of today is mothers or I should say women in general, they're moving towards the church a lot more than men are moving towards the church. Men are leaving the church, and we've been leaving the church for the last 20 years.
Because the church is simping.
Yeah, they really are, and that's why.
The church is simping.
That's exactly why. We could do an entire podcast, but Eric is right. The reason why men are leaving the church is because men understand the important role of responsibility, discipline, structure, and we're not seeing that in today's church right now. And I go to church. I listen to the Bible. I am a Christian, but even I have a lot of problem with the fact that when I was a boy, you would not see a single mother with 3 kids, 3 different daddies, unwed in the front pew of the church. You wouldn't see that.
Yeah.
But you know what? In today's world, you can absolutely have a unmarried baby mama, 3 kids with 3 different fathers sitting in the front row, and they will call that woman a queen. Because the church is afraid of holding people accountable. They're afraid of holding women. The world is afraid of holding women accountable for whatever reason in today's world. And men are going, hold on. You still hold us accountable. If we slack, we're just deadbeats. If we slack, we're just worthless. If we slack, you tell the rest of us that you don't need us. But when you slack, we just pretend it never happened. And guys are going to go, you know what? I'm out. And I think that's why you're starting to see a lot less men in the church. And it's unfortunate because the church does have its role in the development of the man and the woman and even the child. But I want to be clear, it's not the church's primary responsibility to raise your kid. It's the parents' duty, the fathers included. Right? Even outside of biblical guidelines, the fathers play a very crucial role. Fathers and mothers are children's most important teachers. Fathers might ask themselves, because here's why. When a father's present in the home, here's what a father's doing. He's asking himself, what are my children learning? What are my children learning about life in general? What about mortality? What about family members? Should I have my kids next to this family member? Should I have my kids next to that family member? What about relationships? What are my kids learning from observing me every single day? That's what fathers are thinking when they're raising their kids. They're not thinking linearly. They're thinking, who are the influencers that my kids are seeing, that they're ingesting every day? They want to know what their kids are looking at on social media, because the kids are glued to this all day long. Yeah. Just for those, because it's Sunday, let's go over. I wrote down a couple biblical Bible verses that can reinforce the importance of a father's role. Okay, so here's 3 or 4. And these words that I command you today shall be on your heart. You shall teach them diligently to your children, and shall talk of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise. Another one. For I have chosen him, so that he will direct his children and his household after him to keep the way of the Lord by doing what is right and just, so that the Lord will bring about Abraham what he has promised him. That's in Genesis. Here's another one in Proverbs. Train up a child in the way that he should go. Even when he is old, he will not depart from it. Here's another one. For you know how, like a father and his children, we exhort each of you and encouraged you and charged you to walk in the manner worthy of God, who calls you unto his own kingdom and glory. I could go on and on, but you guys get the point. There's plenty of things in the Bible showing how important fathers are, for the development and raising of their kids. And it's just kind of a shame, guys, that we're seeing so many of these fatherless households, more so than ever in the history of humanity.
No, yeah. Government knew what they were doing.
Dude, you talk about, let me tell you this story about this guy. He was one of the strongest men they had ever seen. He was this amazing warrior. Nobody could mess with him. There was only one downfall that he had. It was that no good Delilah. Does anybody remember? Imagine if Samson had went MGTOW. Like, seriously.
It would have changed the
In the
outcome.
Bible. Here you got this. I mean, dude, he could fight him off with what was it, a jawbone?
Yeah.
But he meets a woman and he becomes what you see now. Anyway.
Yeah. It's true, man. You know, when women choosing the right woman, and we've talked about this plenty of times, choosing the right woman is just, guys, for my younger guys listening to this, the ones who are not married, not engaged, not currently in an LTR, a long-term relationship, if there is one piece of advice that I can give you amongst many important pieces of advice for life, choosing the right spouse is probably going to be the most important choice you could ever make in your entire life.
Yes.
You cannot mess that up, guys. You could go through life and stumble and fall and pick yourself back up when you screw up on many different types of occasions and facets. But if you get this one wrong, let me tell you something. In many cases, it'll set you back years, and in some cases, you'll never recover from it. So you have to make sure that you are doing your own shit test
Yes.
with women. You have to make sure that you are understanding how women act and women move and the power that women have. It is our innate desire, want to protect the feminine, to protect and provide for our women. And I'm glad that we have that. I really, truly am. But the wrong woman will use that against you. If you've ever had that used against you, put it in the chat room, guys. If you've ever been experienced a woman who has taken complete advantage of the situation and you, put in the chat room, give me an amen, whatever you want to say, throw your hands up, because I tell you, you don't have to look far to see it. And in this culture today where we have so many women being told that they are the queen, that they can do no wrong, that every decision they make is the right one, that men are trash. Men are now more than ever being devalued. And the truth of the world is, and I'm gonna shoot it straight because people know who I am. I'm gonna shoot it straight. There is no world without men. There is no community. There is no prosperity. There is no anything without men. Because without men, there is no peace. There's no survival. There's no anything. If it wasn't for men, we'd be speaking German years ago if it wasn't for men.
Exactly. Well, one of the things that I think about is, talking to women. Now, men, you need to be on your purpose. You need to be on your game. You need to be an honorable man. But the woman you choose, a woman is your greatest strength and your greatest weakness. And men and women need to listen to that and understand what that means. They are your greatest strength, because when the man and woman, when they're, locked in step and moving forward, making that kingdom together, unstoppable force. They can also be your weakness when, they're the ones that turn your head. They're the ones that do, whatever they're going to do. They can lead you down a bad path. Maybe not yours, maybe another one. That's a whole other story. But yeah, men, we need to that's why, having our purpose, having, protecting the entire family, being on our purpose, our goals. That's why it's so important that men do that.
Men play important roles, just like we talked about. And one of the most important roles that men play, and the reason why, it's probably the biggest reason why we are where we're at in society, is because the absence of fathers means that you have the absence of teachers. Good fathers are teachers. Another thing that fathers do is they serve as role models. You don't have to be a parent for very long to realize the phrase, do as I say and not as I do. Now, granted, it doesn't play out all that well with children, especially whether they're young or old, but they do continue to watch and they continue to learn. Good men will teach with your words, but speak with your actions. And, some of the things that the Bible says about being a good role model is, and I'm reading right here, the righteous who walks in his integrity, blessed are his children after him. When you then who teach others, do you not teach yourself? While you preach against stealing, do you steal? You who say that one must not commit adultery, do you commit adultery? You who adore idols, do you rob temples? So the Bible says a lot of things about being role models, and that, you guys get what Jesus is trying to say there. He's trying to say, hey, don't tell your kids not to steal if you're out there stealing. Don't tell your kids not to cheat if you're out there cheating, things like that. Another really important thing that fathers do in the household is he disciplines. That's the obvious one that we do not see much of anymore. You know,
And look what happened. I mean,
look what happened.
My generation, I got out of line. My dad whacked me, sent me to the shed to paint something, and I learned, that discipline. And what's funny is I said, I'm never going to do that to my kids. Well, I lied because I do that to my kids. But we see we're going to coddle them. We're going to give them participation trophies, because dads will tell you that, rub some dirt on it, get back in the game. Now, nowadays with, a lot of women raising children, they're like, oh, poor Junior, we're going to give him a participation trophy. This is why we're where we're at today. It's funny. I was dropping my youngest son off at the airport to go visit his biological mother for a week. And last night, and I saw some kid getting out of line. His dad whacked him, brought him back into the fold. And I want to go over and shake the man's hand. We need, I hate to say it, we need more of that. I know a lot of people are going to be upset by that. I don't care. Yeah. But sometimes that is what's needed.
I agree 100%. And, I was having a conversation just yesterday about discipline. I'm sorry. It was about bullying. And I'm going to say something controversial. I think that the world does need to go back to, criticizing and holding people accountable. And even although no one will admit or want to have anyone bully them, I have heard more stories about people who have been bullied that have taken that awful time in their life and grown themselves into something that they probably would have never been able to grow into should they had not been bullied.
Right.
I'm not saying that I want people to start rubbing people's face in the sand. I understand, but if we're being honest with ourselves, bad things that happen to us in life, those are oftentimes the things we learn from the most.
Yeah.
We learn from our failures more than we learn from our successes. Before 9/11 happened, the country wasn't really all that unified. When 9/11 happened, you saw more unity in our country than ever before. Yep. There wasn't a black and white issue. There wasn't a man versus woman issue. There wasn't a California versus Florida issue. We all came together under one flag of the United States of America, and we unified, we locked arms, we locked hearts, and we were ready to take out whoever was responsible for that action. So in an unfortunate way, the way that the ebbs and flows of life happen, as heartbreaking.
Can I nerd on you?
Huh?
Can I nerd out on you for a second?
Nerd out, my friend.
And I won't offer spoilers, but the new Flash movie, which by the way is awesome, recommend everyone go see it. Oh my God! I don't want to turn this into a nerd podcast, but oh my God, it was awesome. And it was in the trailer, so I can kind of get around this. But Michael Keaton, the original movie Batman, is in it.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Hopefully that's not a huge spoiler.
Now, does Michael Keaton play Batman in the Flash movie?
Oh God, yes, he does.
Look at the Wayne.
Oh my God, it's such a great movie. Yeah, again, not to get nerding out here, but go see The Flash. It was an awesome movie. But again, Batman. Would he have been Batman if the tragedy that happened to his parents didn't happen?
Hey, good point.
The Flash, if you know any, and that's one of the reasons why, of course, I love comics. I had an interesting childhood.
I got another one for you.
Oh.
Why was Superman even on Earth to begin with?
Oh, that's going to bring a tear. That's going to hit the emotion chip. His father's love. Yeah. Mom couldn't really, if you get right down to it.
And his entire world exploded or was destroyed.
Yeah.
And they sent him off in a pod through space to save him, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It was a final act of love. Yeah. They could have said, peace out, I'm out of here, and jumped in themselves. But no, the father's like, I've got to make sure, my son survives.
Justin saw it.
Oh, yeah. I highly recommend seeing The Flash. That entire movie, laughed, cried. Everything was just so on point with that movie. I've watched it twice, so.
So, when we think about bad things happening to us in life, no one wants bad things to happen to themselves, of course. But whenever you're going through it, guys, gals, and you don't know why this is happening to you, just remember that that every storm has a silver lining and that nothing is permanent. This too shall pass. Every good time you have, unfortunately, that too shall pass. Every bad time you have happening to your life, that too shall pass. If you're in the middle of it right now and you're going through something really, really bad, just know that you're going to get through it and you're going to come out better at the other end. I don't know why this is happening to you. Maybe it's just life's way of saying, hey, I've got to harden her. I've got to harden him a little more. Maybe this is your test. But I can tell you what, I honestly believe that God will never give you something more than you can handle. And he oftentimes brings his strongest warriors into battle. So if you're going through a battle right now, know that you were chosen for this battle because you're able and willing to do what it needs to be done to get through it.
I must think I was a badass then.
Another thing besides disciplining children that fathers do so well and why they're so needed is he loves his children and also their mother. There are biblical verses to talk about that. As a father shows compassion to his children, so the Lord shows compassion to those who fear him. Or which one of you, if his son asked him for bread, will he give him a stone? Or if he asked for a fish, will he give him a serpent? If you then, who are evil, know now to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father who is in heaven give good things to those who ask him? And the last one I written down was the father of the righteous will greatly rejoice. He who fathers a wise son will be glad in him. Additionally, one of the best things a father can do for his children is to love his wife. Watch your children watching you love your wife is probably one of the best things that they can do for their development. For those of you listening right now, if you are still in a relationship with your wife, don't overlook that one because your kids are watching.
Important relationship.
Yeah, your kids are watching.
Well,
and you know what? Your daughters will grow up, and if you treat your wife good, great. Your daughter will have the same expectation for the man that she chooses.
Yeah.
If your sons are watching you, he will mimic his father and how he treats his future wife. The same thing, unfortunately, goes for the bad part of it. If you don't treat your wife good, if you're abusing her, whether that physically or mentally, if she's abusing you physically, mentally, your kids are watching, and it's unfortunate. So just know that one of the best things that a father can do, because we can't change the women, right? We're not them. We can only change ourselves. So sometimes this is able to be done. And sometimes, guys, I get it. It's not able to be done. But if you can do it, or if you're doing it right now, don't underestimate the importance of loving your wife.
That's why it's important to choose well. That's why your show is the show between the Dad Talk Today show and the big show with Jimmy Smith. This is the best one, the first one to watch, because if you watch your show, you don't have to watch the Dad Talk Today show.
Hey, fair point, right? Because I talk a lot about finding the right mate, find the right woman. This is my show's mostly for men, but of course I actually have more female listeners on my show than I think.
Women should listen.
Yeah.
They should listen to this show. They can get into a guy's head and understand, oh, wait, me acting crazy, drama queen, hypergamy, doing all this crazy nonsense. Shocker. He doesn't like it.
Yeah, 100%. And so, if you can take some of the tips that I'm trying to teach you guys and apply them to picking the right spouse, you don't have to be a subscriber of Dad Talk Today going through the BS, So, Eric is a very smart guy where he tries to put together enough segments to help men, all the way around the spectrum, So, if you're looking for how to level yourself up as an individual, if you're looking on how to pick a better the next time, or maybe if you're young the first time, then, consider watching Dwayne and I on Sundays, because it'll help you. Many probably would agree that one of the plagues in our nation stems from the breakdown of the family. I think we all can agree on that. But with little concern, with little care for what might be the root cause, we've instead all become, experts at finger pointing. This is at fault, that's at fault. Yet study after study shows that when dads are involved with their children, despite the fingers that we point, study after study shows that when dads are involved, they hold the key to solving a whole host of concerns.
Yeah.
Everything from drug abuse to teen pregnancy to adolescent suicide And that's because fathers, present and involved fathers, have a unique capacity to impact the development of their children's personalities, skills, characters, and overall outlook in life.
Mhm.
Facts. And I have, and Dwayne has, the stats to back up our bold words. Ladies, before you get pregnant, before you decide to have a baby, please make sure that you're choosing the best caliber of man you can. If you know, ladies, that he ain't husband material, do not give him the greatest honor that you can give him. Do not give him the greatest honor you can give him, which is a baby. A man, in my opinion, before you give him the greatest honor you can give him, should give you the greatest honor he can give you, which is what? His last name. And that comes back with his devotion, his promise of protection, and his promise of provision. If we were to have more married couples having babies, then these stats would dwindle down and we'd be right back to where we need to be, where we were 40 years ago and since the dawn of time. It's really only happened this last 40, 50, 60, maybe years.
Since 1969 when no-fault divorce got passed.
There you go. So call it the 70s, right? I mean, it's, one
Mary
of the
Tyler
gifts.
Moore generation, the Me Too, third wave feminism, all those things. That's what did it. I mean, that combination, and there is so much data. I don't know if it should be like the law of what happened versus these are facts, this is statistic, this is data. We have decades, and you can just see the reliance on the government skyrocketed right after no-fault divorce got passed. When baby daddy government got involved, and this is how you tear down a society. Government comes in, says, all right. I mean, you look at, generationally, you look at demographics. I talk about the Black community. Before 1970s, before the government got involved and did what they did with the free housing and all that stuff, the Black family was the strongest family, had the strongest father's presence. The data that we have on that was, they did better. I mean, it was a strong unit after no-fault divorce and after the government started giving away all the freebies and, feeding the bears, basically. The single mother prison rate, it's at the point of sort of ridiculous. We need to check the numbers because you're going, this has to be wrong. Yeah. I had to have done some math somewhere wrong. And it's been checked, fact checked, cross-checked, up-checked, down-checked. And this fatherlessness epidemic that we've had over the last 50 some odd years, that's what's done it. There's nothing else out there that does it, that explains it.
And I'm going to answer a couple questions by Justin and James here. They're asking for these stats, right? So, gentlemen, you can literally go on to Dwayne's page, pissedoffparent.com, and he has all these stats. Dwayne, you want to comment on those?
Yeah, pull them up again. I have a split screen so I can be looking right at my camera.
So Justin says, I would love the list of the state. And James said, I would love to have the list of the stats.
If you go again, pissedoffparent.com.
Justin didn't mean list of the state. He meant stats.
List of stats.
Yeah.
Again, go to pissedoffparent.com. You'll be greeted on the main page by Fast Facts on Fatherlessness. That's has that. There's a short little video that I put together. Again, some of my older quality stuff. But if you have national data and information that gives you the child support information, national custody breakdown, the cost to the nation. If you go to actually, I have a little pop-up. Actually, you know what? Let me just share my screen so I don't have to give
make sure you take off the midget porn you had on there.
Oh yeah, these are jokes, guys. We were jamming. We were looking for who was it? The guy, the author,
David Goggins. We were looking at David Goggins, the inspirational speaker, and he says, I don't recognize that guy. I said, click on images and you'll know him when you see his face. And there's like 50 pictures of David Goggins shirtless, and he's like, oh,
shirtless.
my computer's with shirtless men now.
But yeah, if you go to pissedoffparent.com. It has, you can go down each of the main categories, custody interference, and it teaches you, provides some self-help. I even have a little, chat bot that kind of walks you through if you have questions on that. But you can look at the books, articles, and studies. That is uncategorized because there's so much data. But you can go there and find the information you're looking for. If you're looking for state-specific information, on the national level, you can click in here and find your statistics on various data, where the information, when people say 66 cents on the dollar, you'll hear that being said. You can go there, find it. Clinton, like him, love him, hate him, whatever. He did a lot of bad stuff, was doing certain things. I wanted to kind of memorialize that. If you're looking for state information, it's not 100% because it's one. I am the pissed off parent. I'm one guy, so this is run by me. But it's all there, and then just some a blog from around the world that talks about all kinds of stuff. But at the very bottom, if you're going through a divorce or breakup, things you want to learn when you're going through a divorce or you are going through a divorce, I would click on that. It has a lot of information to teach you what things to look for, regrets you had afterwards, and things you wish you knew to put in your decree. But there's a lot of information there. But back to the stat part of it, if you go to the website, books, articles, that will give you where I'm at here.
I mean, it's a pretty impressive website, guys. So if you want your stats, there you go. I mean, it's sitting right there in front of you. Dwayne, I do want you to answer a couple more questions. I've got a couple questions on here. Let me show you a couple questions like where is it at? What is it at? All right. So Joseph, right? Joseph says, so what you're saying is we should try the government. I'm guessing Joseph is being sarcastic because
Joe is being snarky. Joe is
being snarky right now. But
he's a longtime supporter, good guy. He's
sure he
trying so hard to get the laws. He's actually in Texas, get the laws changed. He's at every event trying. He's a smart, great guy.
You said he's Greek?
No, Hispanic.
I thought you said he's a smart.
He's
Greek
a great guy.
Oh, great guy, great guy.
Yeah, you're like great guy now.
And then JD says, but how do men do that when some women are using child support system as a weapon? So I guess both those guys' question is kind of like, hey, Jimmy, I kind of get what you're saying where we should pick right and, husband and wife together in household, it brings all these things. Cool. But why would we get the government involved? Why would we want to even get involved in a marriage when look at all the tragedy that happens? Look at all the, like men are behind the eight ball. And guys, I get it. I'm no hate towards you. A fair effing point. A fair point. And women, for the women that are listening, JD, James Davis and Joseph, they're not haters of women. I don't know those guys, but I guarantee they're not haters of women.
Joe's married.
They're just saying that because in today's world, there's not really a whole lot of incentive to get the government involved. So, Dwayne, you want to comment on that? What's your thoughts on what those guys said?
On the data, as of right now, 69% of millennials in that generation, they are not getting into long-term relationships. They're definitely not getting married. The data is showing it that they're walking away. They saw what I'd say, by and large, what women have done to men, their fathers, over the last 30, 40, 50 years, and they're like, I'm out. I'm not doing this. And they are gone. And it's a double whammy because they saw what happened to their dads and the lack of dads, and they also look at the caliber of women that are coming out today or that have grown into that. When you've got when they're like, okay, I've got to choose a lifetime partner. Marriage doesn't mean lifelong bond. It means as long as you do everything I say and I feel good about it, I can change my mind whenever I want to. I can do whatever, I mean, there's again a stat, I think it's 70%, I'm going to misquote the number, 70 or 30, 40, some odd percent of the same women that said that it's not okay for a man to cheat on a woman said that it's okay for a woman to cheat on a man. The same group of women. This is why, ladies, this is why guys are walking away. Y'all can't even, you can't live in the world you create. So guys are like, why? And look at it from a guy's perspective. why would a guy get into a game that he knows he can't win? He's got a 70% chance. Again, women initiate divorce 70% of the time. This is nationally. Again, all the stats are available for free on the website. But women initiate divorce 70% of the time, and they win custody 80 to 90%, depends on the state that you're in, 90% of the time, and they get a cash and prizes for the next 18 to 21 years of at least, depends on your state, 20% of your income, and they get to rule over you for the next 18 some odd years. Depends on your state.
Yeah,
why would a guy be dumb enough to do that? And to be perfectly blunt, what men look for, young men that are in that age, they're looking for fitness, fertility, the ability to have children, and common sense. And y'all ain't bringing it. You guys are party girls.
High body counts, Instagram models.
Yeah, when they see that, they're why would I do that? Or they are like, well, I can hit it and quit. I can buy they can get the milk and not have to buy the cow. I mean, it's an old adage. And women, I mean, Tinder has been one of the worst things for women, because while you all are swiping right or left or whatever that number is, or direction, men are like, well, we can do the same thing. We can, we don't have to get into a relationship. We can just, hit it and quit it, jump out. And then the men see what y'all are, you guys would leave a good quality guy for a Chad. No offense to the Chads out there. I'm just using the name as the meme. Why would a guy do that? So I guess going back to go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, so what we see here is that how do I word this without pissing women off?
I think we're way past that.
Are we past that already?
The real women are going to understand it. I mean, we've got a lot of good real women on here that see it and understand it, because they get it. The ones that don't, they're the weak. They're the ones that do it. The ones that are like, oh, you're offending me. Yeah, you probably do it. So anyway,
the reason why women are so bad at making big decisions is because they run their logic through their emotions before making the decision. And that's why men have always, since the dawn of time, been in control and power, not only because we are physically stronger, but even in diplomacy, countries that are civilized with diplomacy, men tend to make better long-term decisions. Generally speaking, not all men, not all women, but generally speaking, men think more forward-thinking. They think, okay, if I do this now, how is this going to play out down the road? They think like they play checkers. Women think like they play. Men think like chess. Women think like checkers, right? So men are thinking 4 or 5 moves ahead. Women, generally speaking, think are 1 or 2 moves ahead, because they want to do what feels good now, and then they just tackle the problems as they come, and it doesn't work out for their best interest. The more we've seen women take leadership roles and be responsible for laws and be responsible for how culture and society changes, this is the outcome. And what they're doing is they're hiding behind a premise of like, oh, well, don't you think it's fair for us to be equal? Yeah, I think everyone agrees with that. But you got the equality you wanted, but now you're just after a lust for power, because you can be equal, ladies. Well, we have no problem with that. If you want to go bang 5, 6 guys this week, man, freaking go do it. Who cares? But you ain't going to be my chick. You ain't going to be Justin's chick. You ain't going to be MJ's chick. And you certainly ain't going to be JD or Jane, some of these other guys' chick. We ain't running with you. You are recreational use, but you ain't wife material. So do whatever the F you want to do. But understand this, ladies, that your choices come with consequences. If our choices have to come with consequences, your choices have to come with consequences. And what's the outcome of all this equality and feminism? Men just do not want to be married anymore because the juice ain't worth the squeeze. And men are too rational thinking to jump into a contract where one of the parties is incentivized to break the contract. We ain't dumb. Right. So to answer old boy's question, what's his name again? I don't want to disrespect him. What was his name? It was
Joseph, or
was it Jonathan?
Or John?
Yeah, the guy. I forget his name. Sorry, dude. I don't know. There's so many comments here now. I can't even find it.
It was James.
James, James, I call JD, but it was the other guy that you said was a good Joseph Viriol or something like that.
Oh,
Joe,
Joe Viriol,
Joseph was it? So
yeah,
back to Joseph's point of saying, hey, sorry, Jim. So what are we going to do? We're going to involve the government. Give me a break. Hey, bro, fair point. So what do we do? Because men still want relationships. We still want to be in relationships.
Yeah.
So I don't know, Joe. I mean, honestly, in my opinion, right now, it's just probably too risky for the majority of men to get married. I think the top 20% of you guys out there are going to be okay, and the bottom 80 or 70% of you guys are going to struggle. I think that's a fair thing. So by and large, marriage in its general natural way is probably not going to be something that most men are going to want to do. But here's my thinking. I'm not going to involve the government at all in my marriage. I can completely get married and not even put that shit on paper. I can have her take my last name. What's your thoughts, Dwayne? I see you.
Well, now that you're in the, I can talk a little bit of authority now. Now that you're in the great land of Texas, if you represent yourself as married, you are married in the eyes of the law.
Mm.
Yeah.
So that's a state by state thing, huh?
Yeah. Florida, you had a shot. Texas, you don't. No, Texas. Again, we're we win the bonus check for child support bonus checks every year from the federal government. And yeah, Texas has the system locked down on that area. But yeah, if you go on the Facebook or on the Insta Snap and you're like, yeah, me and Susie, oh God, I love her, we're married. That then becomes that will seal your fate.
So the government forces you to be married, even though they don't want you to be, even though you don't want to be married legally.
The government tried for the incentive piece of it. They try everything they can. Well, hell, they had the one where the guy and the girl didn't even cohabitate, and she still got half his crap.
Ladies, you're going down a road you don't want to go down. You're gonna end up with cats. I'm telling you right now, you're gonna end up with cats, because look at what that's incentivizing men to do. For you to stay in your damn house and me to stay in my house and not call each other married. You are essentially making yourself a long-term side chick.
Yeah.
You're doing it to yourselves, ladies. Don't freaking come at us with that BS about, guys don't want to commit. No, guys don't want to lose half their shit. That's what it is. Exactly. Because here's the irony of what women are doing. Women are telling 70% of all the guys out there that you are absolutely invisible if you're not over 6 foot, if you don't make six figures, if you're not in good physical shape, if you don't have a hammer between your legs. You're telling most men out there that you ain't worth a damn. And then guys are out there and some are saying, you know what, F it, I'm just gonna be alone. And the other half of the guys are going, okay, well, I'm gonna level myself up. And then guys like me who spend the last 25 years, 30 years leveling themselves up. And now I'm in a position right now where I'm making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. I'm at the top tier of my income bracket. I'm 6'6". I got my body in shape. I'm the guy, I from what women say they want, that is a top 10%. And you think that I'm going to carve you in on half of all the stuff that I've earned? You haven't earned nothing that I've worked for. You weren't there for me when I was 25 years old and broke. You weren't there for me when I was 24 years old and didn't know how to screw. You weren't there for me when I was 23 years old and didn't have two nickels rubbed together. You weren't there for me when I was 22 years old, had no social status or nothing. I was invisible to you. And now that I'm on your radar, you're going to take half my stuff? No, sir. No, ma'am. I don't think so. And that's what the rub is now, is you're incentivizing these men to be the top tier of men. And then when the men become top tier men, they're saying, look at all the risks I've got to incur getting married. I don't want to carve off half of everything I've worked so damn hard for to a woman who hasn't earned it.
Yeah. They
bring. Ladies, do you see the hypocrisy here? Do you see what you're causing? And that's why let me throw another stat at you. By the year 2030, it is estimated, and I didn't make this stuff up. This is actually Morgan Stanley, who these guys and gals who invest billions of Americans' money every single year. It is their job to make sure that they forecast what the market is doing. And their stat is that by 2030, 50% of every woman between the ages of 18 years old and 40 years old will be single and childless. Now, if that don't seem extreme to you, let me put it into perspective. Since the dawn of time, since the dawn of humanity, every woman that has ever been born on the planet Earth, just slightly under 90% of every woman that has ever been born has bore children. 9 out of 10. Let's just round up 9 out of 10. Yep. It's going to go from 9 out of 10 to 5 out of 10 in the next 7 years.
Yeah,
That's
hard
probably
data.
the most drastic stat you probably will ever read when you really think about it. And why is that? Is it because guys don't want kids? Nope. It's because guys are
Too
saying
scared.
no deal.
Yeah.
Guys haven't changed. The guys here on the chat room, the Jameses of the world, the Justins of the world, the Jonathans of the world, they're still willing to pay the cost to be the boss. They're still going to put down their credit card for dinner. They're still going to protect you if someone jumps on you and tries to steal your purse. They're still going to do all the traditional things that men do, but they're not going to get a traditional woman in return. Chances are they're not. They're not going to get a
Warlock the Destroyer.
They're not going to get someone who's feminine. They're going to get an independent, I don't need no man type of woman, because that's what's usually walking around. And let me tell you something. The guys that I know, we don't date masculine women. I don't date men. And I don't date women who act like men. I date feminine, fit, cooperative, submissive, inspirational women. I want my woman to make me a better man, not give me a damn headache. I know that's a whole lot of direct in-your-face talk just now. And if it offends you, I am sorry that you're offended. But let me tell you something. You can ignore what I'm saying or you can take it to heart. But women, that is your future. If you can be that sweet, feminine, cooperative, inspirational woman that most men are going to want, then you're in the top 20% and you will not be single long. So that's my high horse for the day. Sorry, I was on that road.
I think got triggered there for half a second there. You kind of went into the zone. I saw your eyes kind of rolling back.
Listen, I mean, these guys, I'm not mad at them for saying that. I mean, they've got a valid point.
Well, and then you got, a lot of the guys here. I mean, I've seen messages. Today's Father's Day. They're not allowed to see their kids. Who caused that? Women. Through the courts that use the courts to then destroy men. And you think a guy's going to ever trust again or ever come back around again? Unlikely. Now, again, not in Texas. We narrowly avoided the retroactive child support law, and it was a comedy show on how that got killed. But basically, what the law has said, and other states already have this, and we're trying to do it. They're trying to do it nationally. But any woman can name any man as the father of their child and get child support, retroactive, the 9 months prior, and then also fast forward 18, 21 years or whatever. So any woman, if this law would have passed, any woman could have said, Jimmy, you're the father of my child. I get 20% of your income. And you would have had to go through hell and back to try to get a DNA test or some way to fight it. Texas, they have time frames on when you can get DNA tests. We have a guy that owes somewhere over $100,000 in child support. The courts, the Office of the Attorney General, the mother, everybody knows that he is not the biological father of the child, but because the 1 or 2 year time limit ran out, he's on the hook.
Yeah,
owes over $100,000 for a child that everybody knows is not his. And then you wonder why guys are like, I don't even want to get involved.
Man, it's just sad, man.
It's insane. But talking to a lot of the dads and some of the moms out here for Father's Day that aren't allowed to see their kids on Father's Day. What does that say for the women that do that? Again, and I'm talking about, because there's always going to be he was a bad person. And I have a whole bunch of examples of men that should not see their kids. I was actually going to be doing a live at some point talking about a story out of North Carolina where that's exactly what happened. A woman got thrown in jail because she refused to let the father, who was on drugs, see the kid. She defied the custody order. I'm 100% with her on that one. It happens. But again, by and large, 80 to 90% of the time, women get custody. Those are national statistics. I can give you the state statistics all the way down. That happens. They get most of your stuff in divorces that they initiate 70% of the time. What guy? Think about it like a pew-pew, a pistol. 6 rounds. You're playing the Russian roulette. And if you do the math, it's 5 of the 6 chambers. Are you going to play Russian roulette?
I ain't playing that game.
No guy would. None.
Because you ain't coming out live. Yeah, and all good points, Dwayne, and guys in the chat room. Listen, I hear you, I feel you, man. I want the best for all of you guys. And for those of you that are fathers, man, I just want to say, I understand the battle that you guys are up against, but just don't forget your importance, because sometimes you are made to feel like you're not all that important. And the truth is that a father's strength can be powerful. A dad's words can be fueling and inspirational. Hugs from a dad can be deeply comforting. A dad's smile can still instill joy and confidence.
Yeah.
Time with your father can be fun and productive. A dad's physicality can be challenging. A dad's guidance can be life-changing and foundational. A father's correction can be life-saving and life-giving. Adventures with your father can be exciting and memorable. So fathers are essential personnel, man. Don't ever think that you're not. You are essential personnel, despite what your ex thinks of you, despite how your ex feels about you. The key word in that previous little monologue that I said is can. A dad can bring many amazing things to his family. However, it initially requires you have to realize that you are essential personnel in your home as a dad before you can be the things that I just rattled off. Yeah. You have to understand your importance before you can do important things. So that's what I've been trying to force feed down some of you guys' throat, because life has kicked you in the nuts and beat you down so much that you feel like you can't even get up sometimes. Get up. I don't care.
If you fall, get up. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I don't care what your ex says. I don't care what she thinks, man. You are essential. You are needed. You are wanted, and you are loved. And if no one's going to say it, Dwayne and I will say it for you.
Yeah.
You bring essential teaching, guidance, motivation, correction, love, and feedback. That's what you bring. Women cannot do your job. Women cannot be fathers. They are not born with structure and discipline the way that you are. You can give these things anywhere with no limit in creative day-to-day ways. Your impact is fundamental and long-lasting. I mean, there are plenty. Hell, researchers have found a variety of benefits stemming from a father's use of authoritative parenting. Parenting.
Yeah.
The old, toxic masculinity. Listen, this parenting style balances sensitivity and warmth with discipline and structure. Just because you have an authoritative structure, the way that I would parent if I was a father, does not mean it lacks warmth. Does not mean it lacks sensitivity. You love your kids, but you love them enough to know that just because they scraped their knee because they fell off their bike doesn't mean you stop training them to ride a bike, because you know the benefits that child will have as an adult knowing how to ride a bike. You understand?
And like in martial arts, when you start out, you're going to be, when you do your kicks with your shin, it's going to hurt a million times. But I'll tell you right now, if you get into a situation where you've got to protect your woman, or you got to protect yourself or your kids or whatever, and he kicks you in the shin and you've been conditioned for it, it's not going to hurt and you're going to get the job done. When a father, when they see when their children fall, or they fall off their bike, or they scrape their knee or whatever, they feel it just as much as a woman does, but they're like, I see the chest, the bigger picture, the 10 years down the road, that they've got to get up and go back and do it and conquer it, because they're going to have that self-respect from it. And then they're going to then be able to handle future challenges. And that's the way we think 7 years in the future. We think generationally, at least we should be. I mean, again, if I'm talking like, weird, whatever it is to any of the guys out there, you might want to check a few things out and learn some stuff. When we talk about men, this is what we mean, or at least what I mean.
Yeah, 100%.
And men, you need to be all of those things. And, going right to the gut check on, if you don't have your kids right now, I can't even imagine what you're going through. You've got to do the best with what you got. Get in the Dad Talk Today support group. Talk about these things, because guys, even though we're tough and we cry in our bathrooms by ourselves on Father's Day, we need to talk it out with other men that understand it or even don't understand it, and then we get back in the game. Keep fighting. That's what we're designed to do.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry, I went off my little diatribe.
No, man, the truth. I mean, you're just speaking the truth, and it hits right home with a lot of guys that are listening to this, man, because a lot of guys are going through it. I mean, even Junior just said that he has a 15-year-old daughter that hey, what do I do? And she didn't want to see me. And I bet you there's, without even knowing Junior's situation, I bet you there's some parental alienation that's happening against them, you know, because I mean,
tomorrow's a new day.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's just crazy, guys. You have to look, guys, you have to get better also at picking the right woman too, right? It's not just on the female side. You guys have got to, you've got to put them through your shit test as well. And because honestly, who has more to lose, her or you? You. I mean, you're hearing it on the chat. You got to put her through your shit test. Let me tell you something that I told one of women I dated. We were talking about families or whatever, long-term stuff, and I said, hey, hypothetically, if you and I had kids, what would you think about me putting him or her in karate? And she was like, nah, I don't think so. And I said, okay, you know, I said, you know, when you think about a relationship, you know, let's just say you and I, do you feel that the man should lead? Yeah, I think so. So you feel like so you agree that it's not a 50-50 relationship. If you want someone to lead the household and you understand that the man leads, well, I mean, every relationship should be 50-50. Yeah, but we're going to run into some issues where we're at an impasse. I want to go this direction. You want to go that direction. So there has to be someone who leads. So it's not quite 50-50. You know, I'll take the, and I said to her, I said, I'll take the karate thing, for instance. Why wouldn't you want to put him or her through karate? Well, because, you know, I don't want to get hurt. That's basically what her answer was. And I said, yeah, fair enough. I said, so I think that they should go through karate and they should get kicked in the head every once in a while and, you know, get hurt. I mean, not hurt really super bad, but go through that. What's your thoughts on that? Nah, I don't think so. Okay. So at the end of the day, I think they should go through karate to learn the lessons. You don't want them to because you don't want to get hurt. Who makes the final decision? She goes, well, I do. Why is that? Well, because I'm their mother. And guys,
gone.
You're
out of there.
There's my shit test. You see how simple that is? Put them through your shit test. Because, ladies, let me help you guys understand how men think. Okay, your job, ladies, is to love and nurture. So I understand why you don't want them to go through karate.
Yeah,
our jobs is discipline, structure. Okay, discipline and structure. There is nothing good in life that will ever come about financially, spiritually, emotionally, friendships, your own health and wellness, your own physique. None of that can be possible without discipline. Discipline is everything in this world. And if you don't instill discipline into your children, you're going to get a bunch of emotional, crazy children. When you tell your sons that it's okay to be emotional and share their feelings and not have emotional discipline and control, they're the kids that go to schools and do awful things with weapons. Don't believe me?
Spitting facts.
Look at the stats. Because you know what, I'm going to give you the stats right now.
The majority of those incidents are from fatherless homes. Not all.
Yep.
Most are. The ones that do well, again, we've got decades of data that, you know, in those situations, on the various psychotropic medicines, emotional issues. I mean, you look at those numbers and they went nuts over the last 30, 40 years. Yeah. And I'm going to close the show out with those stats too. I was going to go ahead and just give them to you right now, but I'm going to control myself, my emotional control, and I'm going to give them to you when we're done. And we're almost done, guys. I want to go over a few more things because I wrote down about, 14 things that are important that fathers do that, people need to remember. Number one, fathers provide emotional support, just to my point. They act as their children's rock when they are in need of emotional support. They offer reassurance to the kids during distress moments and increase feelings of self-worth by complimenting them on hard work, good grades, participation in sports or other extracurricular activities. They provide the emotional support that so many kids today have been lacking, period. Number two, they encourage their children to develop interest in hobbies. When fathers see an interest in a subject or activity, they step in to foster and motivate it. They support their children through tough projects and challenges while helping them think outside the box to solve problems so that way they can achieve greater results than expected. Forethinking.
We know that you're probably there's a possibility that you might tear your ACL when you play soccer. We know there's a possibility that you might get a concussion when I put you in football. I know. But you know what? I cannot protect you all the way until you die. I can't put the little floaties on your arms and put you in a plastic bubble as you walk through life. I can't do that. And you know what? The world is a cruel place. And as soon as my kid steps out of my house and is no longer under my provision and protection, my umbrella, I had better made him ready for the world. But if I give him a participation trophy for every damn thing he did, he ain't going to be ready for the world. And what you're going to see is what you see now.
What you see today, yeah.
What you see now. Number 3, fathers serve as role models for success. Fathers are the ones that demonstrate hard work and determination. They, work longer hours than women usually do. They manage long commutes without complaining about it. Dads make when dads make sacrifices like this, kids learn about their priorities in life. They learn that if their fathers work hard to achieve something, they too can achieve the same thing when they're grown up. They watch the actions of their fathers. Number 4, fathers provide protection from their children. Number 5, they passed on wisdom through their stories. I mean, who doesn't love a good story, man? I mean, I love a good story. Number 6, dads help build up self-esteem in their children. By complimenting kids on small tasks that they perform well, fathers can still instill a sense of accomplishments, which encourages your kids to do better the next time, so that way they continue to learn things. It's just what Dwayne and I were saying. I mean,
it's like,
this is what we've been saying. Moms don't want their kids to fall off their bike and get a strawberry on their knee, of course. And that's the mom's role, is to love and nurture and protect. But dads know the benefit of getting his ass up off the ground, dust it off, try again.
Yeah.
Aren't you happy that your father taught you how to ride a bike, swim in the ocean? Aren't you happy that your dad taught you hard work? And if you didn't have a father around, like I did not have a father around, I had to get mentors of men who I wanted to be like. And I grew from watching them. They weren't in my household. I couldn't hear their words. I saw their actions though.
Right.
And I did the best I could. And I came out all right. I was never a mother's boy. I love my mom. I love her. But I was never a mama's boy. If I had had a father, I absolutely know I would have been a father's boy. I'm just too masculine for that stuff. I love my mom, and I respect my mom greatly. She's a hard working woman. Let me tell you something. No one works hard on that woman. I give it to her. But she had to play that role of both father and mother, and she lost her femininity because of it. My mom is a lot of great things, but feminine is not one of them. And unfortunately, my mother is still single till today, and I think that's a contributing factor. I'm not talking bad about her behind her back. Her and I have had these conversations. I love her, and I'm honest with her. But she did what she could for the best interest of Chris and I, and she did it at the sacrifice of her own personal relationships, because she knew that she had to be the mom and the dad. She would change and likely not be as attractive to what most men would want, which is feminine and cooperative and things like that. Mm-hmm. Number 7, did I go over number 6? Dads help build self-esteem in their children. I went over that, right? Yeah. So number 7, fathers keep families together by earning enough money to provide for all needs.
The patriarchy.
Guys.
Well, you want to see a family splinter, and I've seen it so many times personally and just anecdotally seeing it. When the patriarch passes away or isn't there, the entire family just, I mean, there were examples of the matriarchy, but I've seen it so many times. When the father passes away, everything just splinters from there.
Yeah.
It's just cold hard facts.
And this is the reason why so many men are bitter also, because men understand that they are only loved when they are able to provide a resource to someone. Yeah. Men are, I don't care what women say, men are not loved idealistically. They're loved opportunistically. Men are chosen. Men are chosen because of their ability to provide, protect, make the woman feel safe, physically and emotionally. If we are not able to provide that for a woman, we don't have a woman. We love women for real. we don't pick them off of their
Yes.
income. We don't pick them off of their title. We don't pick them off their social status. We don't pick them off of their height. We don't pick them off of how they make us feel safe. A woman who is working fries at McDonald's can get married to a millionaire. A millionaire woman would never marry a man on fries at McDonald's.
Yeah, never. Not going to happen.
So men understand that to keep the family together, you have to be able to provide. And as effed up as that sounds, because I'm about to go down that road and I'm not going to want to be derailed. I'm going to leave this one alone for now. It's unfortunate, but it is a fact that men all know. And we don't talk a whole lot about this, but that's why we stay on our grind and work long hours, because we know it to be true. Yeah. Number 8, they help kids discover what interests them the most while encouraging them to pursue it. Dads, again, they're very forward thinking. When fathers take an interest in their children's activities by offering guidance and feedback on how to best improve upon the skills while making new ones. I mean, guys just do so good at that. Adolescents who feel encouraged by their fathers become better problem solvers and more engaged in school work while doing extracurricular activities. I mean, when the father is present, the kids just do better in school and they do better in extracurricular activities, period. It's just a fact. Number 9, dads help cultivate a connection between family members that lasts for decades. Number 10.
Old patriarch, yeah.
Yeah. Dads teach kids how to resolve conflict within a family unit and with the world around them. Guys are realists. Okay. We understand that, moms are going to tell you that, everyone's equal and everyone's special and everyone's, we should all get along and things like that. And you want to know what? They're right. In a perfect world, they would be right. In a perfect world, we should all get along. All countries, all religions, all fill in the blank.
Yeah.
Do we? In the real world, we don't. And guys are realists. They understand that we're not going to be able to please everyone. And that's okay. That's okay. Not everyone's going to love the Big Show podcast. And if you don't love the Big Show podcast, then go ahead and click your little happy ass on off and go watch whatever you want to watch. I don't care. I understand that some of the things that Dwayne and I say are going to rub some people the wrong way. But at the end of the day, if you follow this advice, you'd be a better person for it. I know that for a fact. I'm not here to hurt anyone. I'm not here to shame anyone. I'm not here to talk down or make anyone feel belittled. I'm here to level you up. I'm also here to say the things that men want to say, but they are afraid to say, or and some men just don't have they're not as articulate as they would like to be. So I try to be a voice for them and articulate it. Right. And I love it when guys go, dude, that's exactly what I was thinking. Thank you.
Yeah.
God gave me the skill of communication. I've always been in a situation where I've had to communicate and, You've
always had a voice for radio. Yeah. Or a face for radio. I'm sorry. I blew it. You have a face for radio. I knew where you were going with that,
you SOB. I knew where you were going with that. You mess up your own joke.
Joke ruined.
Number 11, fathers help kids become better people through good examples of their own. Now, guys, we already talked about this, right? This is the privilege that you have as fathers and as leaders in your household, is that you can help the others around you become better people through good examples of your own. Let me say that again, through good examples of your own.
Ding, 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 ding. And that starts with not saying it out loud. Don't go out there, I'm the leader of this house. That's like the same thing, or it should be as annoying as when women say I'm strong and independent when they say it out loud to you.
Yeah, it's cringy, man.
I don't want to hear it. Show me.
Show me. And guys, what I'm alluding to also is, some of you guys have a drinking problem. Some of you guys drink too much. Some of you guys gamble too much. Some of you guys are out there running the streets, man, and you got yourself a chick and a side chick. Okay. Yeah. Some of you guys are doing drugs and, be a
role model,
watching a whole ton of porn or whatever. Look, man, I said, I'm not going to judge you, but let me just shoot it to you straight, man. Because if you guys were standing in my house right now, I'll tell you the same thing. Drinking too much porn, too much drugs, too much gambling, too much whatever. We all know it doesn't end well. We all know it does not end well. So you guys, I'm not going to go on a big soapbox right now. You guys know where I'm going with this. You've got to make sure that you're leading by good examples, because your
Right.
kids are watching and they're smarter than you think they are. Number
Yeah,
12,
they're
dads.
watching.
Yeah. Number 12, dads help their children find happiness within themselves. Number 13, fathers help build stronger family units, which contribute to society, obviously. And the last one I wrote down was fathers teach kids valuable lessons about becoming better men for women everywhere. We do. We also teach our daughters to become better women for men.
Yeah.
Whenever you see women out there acting a certain way, and one of the first things we say is, man, how embarrassed would their father be knowing she's done that?
Well, they usually find out that they didn't have a father in their life.
Fathers keep women off of stripper poles. Fathers help women make better decisions. There's a reason since the dawn of time that fathers vetted your husband before you could get married. There is a reason why it was required for you to ask for permission for his daughter's hand in marriage, because he had to shit test you first. And women, just like ladies, if you were next to me in a group setting and we were all doing in a social event, right? And let's say that you and I were girlfriend and boyfriend, and this woman walks into the room and she walks over and starts engaging in conversation. Ladies, if I was your man, you would be listening and feeling this lady's frequency to determine what kind of woman she is. And when she walked away, you would probably turn to me and go, I don't like that bitch. And I'd be like, what the hell what's wrong with her?
What?
I don't like her. Why? Because your intuition sounds off like your spidey senses. You already know the heart of that woman. Mm-hmm. Ladies, that's how it is with men and other men. When a man comes into our space and wants to date our daughter, we know the kind and caliber man that he is. We can vet them better than you could vet them. All you guys care about is, does he treat you well and do you love him? How's that working out for you? Every bad dude's going to treat your daughter good in the beginning, but can he do all the other things? And men have a better way of determining whether that's true or not. So allow your fathers should be vetting your men. I'm gonna end the podcast with some stats that I taken from a website called Pissed Off Parent. If you want to see these stats, please visit www.pissedoffparent.com. Also, make sure you check on Dwayne Ward's podcast. He is the host of Pissed Off Parent. These are the stats that Dwayne has pulled up. 63% of youth suicides are from fatherless homes. That's 5 times the national average. 70% of youth in state-operated institutions come from fatherless homes. 71% of all high school dropouts, fatherless homes. 75% of all adolescent patients in substance abuse rehabs come from fatherless homes. 80% of, I'm not going to use the word, I'll say grapists motivated by displaced anger comes from fatherless homes. 80%. 85% of all children who show behavior disorders, shocker, comes from fatherless homes. 85% of all youth in prison come from fatherless homes. And the last one, 9 out of 10. 90% of all homeless and runaway children are from fatherless homes. That's 24 times the national average. Do I have to say any more about how important you are, men? Do I have to say any more about how needed you are? Guys, do the best you can with the situation that some of you guys are in right now, because some of you guys are in the weeds right now, man. Some of you guys have made the mistakes, and there's no you can't unring that bell. I get it.
Right.
I get it. For those of you who still have a chance of vetting, go back and listen to some of the other Big Show podcasts. Dwayne and I talk about some really good tips on how to vet women and how to pick the best kind and caliber woman you can. For the men who have already, unfortunately, jumped into the pool that they thought was clear blue waters and it ended up being mud in disguise, you guys just look. Use your diplomacy.
Play chess.
Yeah, man. Play chess the best you can. Document everything you can. And man, just keep fighting the good fight. There is a lot of really good help that you guys can get on how to handle the court systems through that website, Pissed Off Parent. That's not my forte. That's Dwayne's forte. But guys, I just wanted to say thank you to all the fathers out there on Father's Day. on behalf of Dwayne and myself, I really wanted to make sure that you guys understood how important you are and how much you really are needed. Dwayne, you want to say anything before we adjourn?
Yeah, just again, happy Father's Day for those that are still with us. For as far as the good and the bad, the fathers that don't get to see their kids. Just you got to stay in there, get into the Dad Talk Today support group, share your pain. It will get better. I've seen people mentioning that they can't see their kids and they don't know what to do. I will say that at some point, chances are good. It's not 100%, but you will get to see. You will get your child. They will learn the truth. Actually, if you watch Dad Talk Today. There's a show from months ago where that actually happened. A girl reached out, got in touch with her father after she had turned 18 or 21, and she talks about that. Hopefully you can get some strength and energy from that. The community is here, for you. And as far as, the other folks, I want to say happy Father's Day to my dad who's been in heaven for, 13 years. My father-in-law passed away a few years ago. Happy Father's Day to him. Take each day as it comes, be better than you were before, and have just a good rest of your day.
You guys have a great Father's Day. We'll see you next week, 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern. Guys, happy Father's Day. We love you. Keep fighting the good fight. Big Show podcast every week on Sunday. We'll see you next week.